Welcome back to another behind the scenes photoshoot video. I've been leaning into a darker mood recently, and this shoot is a chance to explore that. Today I'm creating a soft, moody veil shoot with the last of the spring blossoms and my new fog machine. This is a good one, so let's jump into it. As per usual, I started with a location. There's this one spot in my town that bursts into a wall of white blossoms every spring, and I love using flowers as a backdrop. But since I've shot at this location many times before, I wanted to push it a little bit further. And around the same time, I had recently rewatched the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie, and there's this one scene that has the sculpture called the Veiled Virgin, and it sparked this whole idea of incorporating a veil. So my concept was beginning to shape up, and I knew I wanted to test out my newly purchased fog machine. I had actually ordered this for a project that I'm working on later this year, but this shoot became the perfect excuse to start practicing with it and seeing what all I could do with it. Let's just go in. Okay. So if you want to go, there's a green. This was my first creative shoot since wrapping up my year-long project, and after taking a short break, I was more than ready to dive back in. So like I said before, don't worry about being awkward. I feel awkward right now too.
Yeah.
We'll get into it. Neutral to sad sort of expression. Like I said earlier, kind of like took a deep breath and then out. Don't be afraid to sort of put your hands near your face, your neck. Do whatever. This is Elle, our stunning model for the day, and she was the perfect choice with her striking red hair and ethereal, elven princess-like features. I wanted to ease into the shoot before introducing the veil, give both Elle and myself time to warm up and get comfortable in front of the camera. Since I knew most of the final shots would feature the veil, this was a good chance to capture some variety early on. I also wanted to avoid falling into my usual habit of taking the same shot over and over again, so starting without the veil helped break that pattern. I've said this before, but I think it's extremely important to give whoever is in front of your camera feedback. And I personally like to show them the back of my camera so they can see exactly what they look like and can adjust accordingly. All right, so I think we're gonna get the veil.
Yeah.
Okay? Once we brought out the veil, that's when my vision truly started to come to life. I'll admit I had a little bit of a hesitation going into this shoot. I was a little worried the final images might lean too bridal, which is definitely not the vibe I was aiming for. So to steer away from that, I gave my model direction that leaned more into a melancholic, otherworldly spectral sort of energy, something more wistful and haunted and maybe even a little bit tragic. The goal was to evoke a sense of mystery and emotion rather than romance or celebration. And that shift in tone really helped the veil feel like it was more of a part of a story rather than just a bridal accessory. If anyone's thinking of trying a similar concept, one thing to watch out for is the veil kept getting snagged on the brambles. I'm definitely glad we used a cheap one rather than something delicate or expensive, because that would have been a nightmare. When I was envisioning this shoot, one of the key shots I knew I wanted to try was photographing through the veil. I liked the idea of using it as a semi-transparent layer to add texture to the portrait. It's a similar technique to net diffusion, which is something I've shown here on my channel on other shoots, but this is just taking it one step further, and I think it had a really beautiful result. Next, I brought out the fog machine. I wasn't entirely sure how well it was going to work, as it's a pretty small unit and the wind was starting to pick up. but to my surprise, it held up really well. I can't even explain how excited I was in this moment, seeing all the layers come together, the blossoms, the model, the veil, and now the fog drifting through it all. I was fully caught up in the magic of it. It felt really rewarding to see it all come together and to know that I had orchestrated it all. At this point, I felt like I'd captured the bulk of what I wanted to, but I did have one last idea. A shot inside the tunnel of shrubs, using an external light for a specific look. In my head, this was going to be the final shot, but also the trickiest. We were adding an extra piece of equipment, and as someone who usually sticks to natural light and minimal gear, this was pushing me a bit outside of my comfort zone. But I am so glad we went for it. Using the natural darkness of the tunnel and placing a light directly behind my subject, we were able to create this beautiful room lighting. With the combination of the fog and the veil, she looked almost like a ghost. It was exactly the dreamlike effect I was hoping for, and a great shot to end on. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this shoot as much as I did. This was just one of those shoots that went really, really well. So if you liked it and you want to see more behind the scenes photography and videography content, make sure to subscribe and follow me over on Instagram as well. I will see you guys again very soon for the next one. Bye for now.